Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Ricky with TechBud Solutions. Currently shorting SOUN. This is pretty much normally what I was doing today with the LPP team. My first trade, I made $3,000. Just a quick little heads up. I was shorting SOUN with 150K. And honestly, I mean, this trade it's not super significant in the sense of like, there's not a very significant move that is presenting itself. There's days that are very bullish, there's days that are very bearish, and then there's days like this that are kind of just trading sideways. So I just wanted to show you kind of like how on these sideways or horizontal days, right, where there's just a lot of consolidation, when you give the market the time that it needs to kind of, identify its resistance and identify its support, as long as the pattern continues, there's money to be made, right, from the highs to the lows, opening short and closing. Also, if you wanted to go long at support and then take profits, right? Now it's overbought. Now it's looking like it's going to be correcting itself, and that's why I opened up short, and I'm up 4.95K, and the more that it sells off, the more money I could possibly make. This is SOUN. I'll talk about it in just a little bit if you've never heard of it before. But it's about a 4% move. 5% from overall highs to overall lows, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm not a perfect trader. I never catch the overall highs and I never catch the overall lows. But my job is just to identify an opportunity, make sure that it meets my criteria, make my money, and bounce, right? So with this trade, I think if all goes according to plan, I should be closer to $8,000 if it actually does run all the way down to, the lows of 1580, which again, it doesn't have to. It could even just consolidate here, and that within itself made me $2,000. But the reason why is, SOUN is an incredibly risky and overvalued stock. It went from lows of $3, all of a sudden got pumped, right? Just like a pump and dump, to highs of 25. We started talking about it when it was at highs of 20. Ended up selling off. I didn't catch the whole thing because, again, I close out my shorts every single day. So a lot of these were gap downs overnight. So by focusing on managing my risk, I also miss opportunities that happen overnight, but it's just part of the game, right? It's part of the process. Overall, this is what it looks like when a short opportunity presents itself. It's a stock that is bearish, big picture, rallies, becomes overbought, begins to show signs of resistance, and then if you see that there's pullback potential, this is where we open up short to make money on the downside. So again, opened up short, and the way that the short is reflected is with negative shares. So negative shares, it shows as, negative dollar amount. So you do have to have a margin account. You can't do this with a cash account, and you have to have like over $2,000, I believe, if you use Webull. If you guys don't use Webull, it's the 5th link in the description down below. You guys can download it by using my link, and if you use my link, you'll earn up to 40 free shares, and I'll earn 1, so just a heads up. But it all depends on what your initial deposit is. If your initial deposit is small, you get only like 5 or 10 shares for free, but they're still free shares, right? And if you have a larger initial deposit, then of course you get closer to the 40. So once it gets closer to a potential support where I actually want to cover, the way that that would look like is, I'll do it here for you guys, is, how it shows that I have like negative shares. I'll just go ahead and click 100, right? That's fine. That's about $1,600. And then I can click here, buy to cover, and then that reduces my position by 100 shares. So that's it. Obviously, if I want to close out the entire position, I buy all the negative shares that reflect on the account. So if I have negative 10,000, then I want to cover I want to buy 10,000, and then that closes out my short. So a very simple setup. Shorting is not for beginners. Let me make that very clear. Trading SOUN is not for beginners. And shorting is incredibly risky. So if this thing begins to turn against me and begins to indicate signs of an uptrend, just like in today's live trading session, my job is to manage risk. My job is not to avoid it. No trade will ever be perfect. Their job always as a trader is really determined not just with how much money you make, but also your ability to be able to control how much money you give back. That's such a big focus that I have with a lot of our beginner traders that are just getting started. Anyone can get lucky. Anyone can make money during a bull run, especially with all this meme stock, AI BS that's going on. That's not the hard part. The hard part is when direction turns against you, how quick Can you accept that there's either a break of pattern, you're getting close to your max dollar loss or max percent loss? It's not personal. It's not an attack to you. It's just a calculated trade, right? If you're entering a trade, it's probably because it yields a certain amount of potential profit. At that profit, what is the potential risk of it turning against you, right? Do you focus on a 4-to-1 ratio, a 5-to-1 ratio? That means 5% of potential profit, 1% of potential risk. It's all determined based off of your success rate. This is something that we talk about so often. And again, if you don't have that structure as a trader, then you simply are putting yourself in a position long-term to fail, because you're always just going to be one bad trade away from giving back all of your money. So if you want to learn a little bit more about this, again, I go live every single day. I don't do call outs. I don't tell you what to buy or what to sell. You just get to watch me trade live, kind of like this, for an hour every single morning, Monday through Friday. If the market's open, I'm there. And again, a lot of beginners learn best by watching other people do. If this is you and you want to kind of get it all figured out, second link in the description down below will give you lifetime access. It is a one-time payment, and the cost breaks down to about $1.35 per day if you were to break it down per day. But I want to remind you, it's a one-time payment, lifetime access, and you'll get to watch me trade live every single day. So I appreciate your time. I hope that earned a thumbs up. If you have any questions whatsoever, feel free to comment down below. And like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note. Take care, team.